This is 2 pounds of pasta, a legit spaghetti dinner, and it's only 600 calories, give or take. And no, I am not using the weird shiitake noodles. I'm using a noodle blending trick along with making a low calorie, low fat sauce. Still tastes incredible, and some tricks that honestly changed the way I eat dinner. First, hold on, let me get rid of this thing. Okay, that's a little better. I needed that for the thumbnails. First, I absolutely love pasta. It's one of my favorite things. Growing up in Northeast Ohio, anybody from Youngstown can contest, it's something you eat regularly, and you typically eat a lot of it. As a kid, I could easily eat 2 plates of pasta, which could rack up to well over 1,200, 1,400 calories, easily. As an adult, a portion size of pasta doesn't really matter. I can continue to eat it as long as it's in front of me. And depending on how it's made, it can be incredibly high in fat and incredibly high in calories. So I wanted to run through a few that I found before I dialed down this plate here, which tastes just like a regular spaghetti dinner, and you wouldn't know that it was a lower calorie, higher protein alternative. And it is crazy super good. Oh my God. So first things first, protein pastas. There's a ton of them. They typically have double the amount of protein as a regular wheat pasta. Most of them, including this one, uses a legume-based flour, which is where you get a lot of that higher protein from. It's a higher digestible protein than a normal wheat protein. And the legume-based protein has a higher lysine content, which is your muscle building protein, which is something that is completely absent in wheat protein. And 2, arguably the most important factor in the pasta, these protein pastas being made from legumes are typically a lot higher in fiber, sometimes double or triple. And on some of them, like the edamame-based pasta, you're getting 10 grams of fiber or more per serving, which is wild. And that's what brings me to my third point in these types of pastas as a good alternative is the satiety of them. Fiber along with protein are 2 of the strongest satiety mechanisms. So if you're looking for a healthy weight management pasta, a pasta that's gonna help keep you fuller longer with a better source of protein, something like these are really good. Now, I chose the Barilla Protein Plus ones because on Reddit, this is the pasta that specifically comes out, the one that tastes the most like regular pasta. Some of them do end up with, a little bit better macros, the calories are a little bit lower, but you also want something that's not going to be completely different than what you're used to. Now, next up is the pasta that I have messed with for years. I don't have the bag with me, the shiitake noodles. If you haven't seen these, they go by many different names. Shiitake noodles, konjac noodles, the miracle noodle. They're made using glucosamine flour. I probably pronounced that wrong, but it is the starch from the konjac root. Now, there is a ton of legitimate science behind these noodles. They are shown to have meaningful, yet modest, reduction in weight loss and cholesterol levels. They also have some modest effects on blood sugar control. They are absolutely a real tool towards weight loss. Essentially, you're just loading your gut with a ton of water and fiber. Now, the big part about them is they're almost 0 calorie, 10, 20 calories total. Actually, they're almost food-free. It's nutritionally not really a food. They contain almost nothing nutritionally. The satiety that you're feeling is mechanical alone. You're not actually getting anything out of it. It's not a whole lot of difference than just drinking a lot of water. They also have an odd smell and kind of an odd texture, in my opinion. And some people actually have some serious digestion issues with them. Now, there are a load of different fiber-based pastas, a lot of them being very low calorie. A lot of them also have very little flavor and odd texture. But one of the fibery type of pastas that I want to talk about is actually a heart of palm noodle. This kind of reminds me of the zucchini noodle back in the day, except this actually gets a heck of a lot closer to pasta than the zucchini noodle ever did. Now, these are also incredibly low in calorie, 20 calories per serving, but it's actually a vegetable. So even though you're getting very similar calories to the shiitake noodle, you're actually getting some of the benefits that you would get from a real whole food. It's made from the inner core of the heart of palm. So you're getting fiber, potassium, iron, B6, and then some antioxidants. It really is nothing wildly impressive. Like, I don't want to overhype the nutritional value of these. It's for that 20 calories, you're not replacing any daily intake of vitamins. But the texture of these is far better than the konjac noodle or any other fiber noodle. But like I said, we did a little blending and a few other tricks to make this super nutritious, super low calorie. We're talking about nutrition. Let me tell you about today's sponsor, Ritual. I have been talking about and using Ritual for 6 years now. And honestly, that's mostly because all of Ritual's products are made traceable, meaning they tell you where their labeled ingredients come from, why they're in there, and how they're validated. Which, if you watch my channel regularly, or if you've watched it for more than 5 minutes, you understand why that's important to me. And that's what originally got me on Ritual's Essential for Men 18+. This is a clinically backed, clean, high-quality multivitamin for men 18 to 49 years old. It's made to help fill key nutrition gaps in your diet. And it's also USP verified. That's a third-party certification that fewer than 1% of multivitamins have earned. Their formulas use key nutrients in their most bioavailable forms. Along with being third-party tested, vegan-friendly, non-GMO, gluten-free, it's also just easy. 2 mint essenced capsules a day. Every day. They're delayed release, so they're gentle on my stomach. I take mine with or without food. It doesn't seem to matter for me. And it's a subscription, so I never run out. So gang, right now, summer's winding down, routines are ramping back up. It's a good moment to reset. Ritual is running their reset sale right now. Head to ritual.com/MarkStache and use code MarkStache, and you're gonna get 40% off using my code or click the link in the description below. Ritual, thanks for sponsoring today's video and for making my supplements so incredibly easy. Now, for my pasta, I decided to go with a blend. But before we get to this, I wanted to get a simple sauce kind of rolling first. It's gonna take the longest to cook. Now we're doing a very simple sauce, low oil, lots of flavor. We have a hack to get a little bit more flavor out of the onions, but we're gonna be just using a can of San Marzano tomatoes. Now, this can is around 30 calories a serving. We're probably gonna be using, I would say, 3 servings or so on this. We'll add it all up in the beginning of the video, so you actually already know. But before we start with the can, we're gonna start with a quarter of a yellow onion. We're gonna chop that up pretty fine. We're also gonna add a little bit of garlic, and we're gonna add just a touch of olive oil. Barely any olive oil. Less than a teaspoon. Okay, once the olive oil is hot, which you can see this is, then toss the onions in the pan. We're gonna add our garlic, just a couple cloves, and then I'm gonna add about 2 or 3 tablespoons of water and cover up. Now, the water actually cooks the garlic and onions a little quicker. That's one trick. You're not adding any extra oil, so you're reducing the amount of fat, which is dramatically reducing the amount of calories needed. But the one trick when you're reducing fat is also adding flavor, because fat adds flavor, it elevates flavor. It's kind of like a flavor transporter. One way to elevate flavors of onions is by steaming them, because it makes the natural enzymes and juices release and actually helps kind of caramelize the onions a little quicker, releasing some of their natural sugars, which is going to help flavor the sauce, get more of the onion flavor into the sauce without adding any fats. So that's kind of a cool trick. You don't want to do it too long. You also don't want to add too much water, because then you're just going to end up boiling your onions, which I've talked about that in the past. It's a great thing. But I'm going to add the whole can of San Marzano tomatoes now. The onions and garlic have steamed for a bit. That water's probably mostly reduced, and it is. So while that's simmering, I'm going to weigh out 150 grams of the protein pasta. Now that alone is gonna give us 509 calories. It's also gonna give us 25 grams of protein. Now the point of this video is not to eat 2 pounds of pasta. You don't have to eat 2 pounds of pasta. We're just gonna make 2 pounds of pasta that's incredibly low in calories. So that way, if you choose to eat 2 pounds of pasta, you can. While we're waiting for the water to boil, I'm gonna drain and rinse my hearts of palm. Now, you don't have to do that. You can just eat them as they are. They're literally just hearts of palm. They have kind of like that hearts of palm crunch. They're missing like an al dente thing. On their own, if you were to just make these by themselves and just add sauce, you would be fine. They would taste good, but you're gonna know that they're just hearts of palm. It's gonna be, like I said, just like that old school zucchini noodle thing. Now I'm gonna toss my protein pasta into the boiling water. Now I'm just gonna use some Italian herbs, just oregano and a little bit of dried basil. Season the tomato sauce. Make sure you crush up those tomatoes. At the 7-minute mark, I'm gonna add in the hearts of palm pasta. Let that cook for about 2 more minutes. Now, I know it kind of goes against al dente with how you want to cook your pasta, but the more water you add to your pasta, the heavier it is and the more filling it is. Now, I'm just gonna weigh out just the pastas on their own, which is crazy. We're at 690 grams of just pasta alone. Now we're gonna add our sauce. Now I added a little bit of the starchy water to the sauce, and with the onions, that definitely takes up some space, but the sauce on its own tastes, we probably don't need that much. I'm gonna do, let's see, 125 grams of sauce, which is only about 30 calories on its own. And this is 2 pounds of pasta, a legit spaghetti dinner, and it's only 600 calories. I'm probably not going to have this full serving, but the point of this video is you can't. And you really, truly wouldn't know. I mean, comes out super tasty. There really is no difference. So all in all, this is about 616 calories, 30 grams of protein, 4.7 grams of fat, 120 grams of carbohydrates, but there is 21 grams of fiber in total. So you're about 100 grams of carbs, which is still a lot of carbs, but for a pasta dinner, this is pretty fantastic. Now, I know this is a simple video, but it was a hack that I found on a Reddit community where they were talking about combining different pastas. And I was like, well, if we're going to combine different pastas, what is going to be the best two to combine? So I wanted to kind of use science to do that. If this is something you're interested in, please click the like and subscribe button. This is what the channel is about, finding new ways so that way you can live satisfied and in a healthy life, finding a life that like what I have found after my weight loss. I just want to motivate you and inspire you to do the same. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. This blue screen thing is funny. I'm using it for the thumbnails.